Rage is the newest franchise from ID, creators of Doom and Quake. Will this new franchise match up to the quality of the ones in the past? Watch on to find out. The storyline in Rage starts off with you, the survivor of a gigantic explosion on Earth caused by a comet called Apophis. If this sounds familiar to you, that's because many games that have come out recently borrow from this current theme. However, ID takes a unique stance on it and makes the wasteland a little bit more colorful with the storyline and characters that are well animated and well thought out. That being said, the storyline that's inside of Rage is not one that is extremely compelling, but more an amalgamation of parts. You'll enjoy playing it, and by the time you're done, you'll feel that you haven't really accomplished much. That's the unfortunateness about Rage, is when you're there and playing it, you feel like you're really going through a great storyline, a rich storyline, but when you come to the end of it, you feel like, hey wait, no, that didn't really add up that well, and it's kind of a bit of a cliffhanger, which is a little bit of a disappointment. However, I just said they will be bringing out a second one at some point, so we can be assured that it will pick up again in the future. Rage is a gorgeous game. I spent the first 5 minutes of this game alone, basically spinning around in circles trying to see every single thing I could, and that was before I had even fired a single gunshot or gone near an enemy. That's how visually gorgeous this game is. With its new technology called megatexturing, you can see that this game is holding a steady 60 frames per second along with these gorgeous visuals. I'm not sure how the Xbox and the PS3 do it, but this game looks amazing. This is pretty much where these systems are topping out at. I don't think anything's going to beat the look of this in this generation. The only complaint that I would say about the graphics is the fact that there is extreme pop-in. You'd have a split second of just, hey wait, everything's blurry, and then everything would pop back in to make it look normal. It can be a bit jarring the first couple times you see it happen, but you get used to it throughout the course of the game. The gameplay isn't drastically different from what you expect from any other ID game. There's shooting, there's bad guys, and there's a lot of the two of them put together. This game does add in a few new features that kind of make it stick out from the Dooms of the past. For one, car combat. This game tries to vary up what it does by bringing in cars. However, the effectiveness of it is not that great. The AI you face off against is not what I would call amazing. The enemies themselves are extremely easy to defeat and don't ever really put up much of a challenge. There are also races in this game which vary up the pace of it a little bit. However, they do suffer from the same thing I was talking about earlier, with AI not being the greatest, and there never really being an urgent need to finish them off. They're there so that you can basically buff out your car, but the standard stock car is all you're ever going to need to get through this game. Another thing about the gameplay that was actually quite excellent was the animation system that's put in place for the bad guys. I found bad guys ducking out of my way constantly, and always giving me that little bit extra of a challenge. Bad guys will even crawl on the ceiling depending on which area you're in, which is really neat the first couple times you see it and go, whoa, wait a minute, they're not just stuck behind boxes, they're coming after me now. Even though the car AI was not great, the enemy AI did have some thought put behind it, and was really more interesting than any other game that's currently out on the market from an AI perspective. With everything that's inside of this game, I'm going to have to give it a 4 out of 5. It's not perfect, but with the enemy AI on the car sections not being great, and it not really being that much of a difference from a lot of the other ID games that have been put out there. However, the enemy AI on the shooting levels are fantastic, and the graphics themselves are gorgeous. This game is a must-play for anybody who likes shooters. If you're not a fan of shooters, this isn't going to be something that's going to win you over. That also being said, is if you are a fan of Fallout 3, but wanted a little bit more of a fast-paced action, this is kind of a game for you too. There's less menu management and a lot more fighting. Enjoy your game.